Hello, Earthlings. Welcome to RGN, the regular guy news, the least pretentious name in news. I am your host. I am your anchor, Dan Black. And, you know. Hello, welcome back to RGN, the least pretentious name in news, the news source that's not afraid to say, hey, okay. Right? Folks, we're here. If you're new to the show, this is the least pretentious name in news. We are news junkies. We are searching for the truth in an era where the truth is hard to find. And don't worry, that's not a that's like a mask for conspiracy podcast. That's like how they describe themselves, right? Like that's like Tucker shit, which is like the number one source for truth. No. We're not that. We're not the number one source for truth. We're trying to be that, but we're also admitting we don't know, okay? And the value of admitting we don't know, it's so strong, you know? We're regular guys just looking for the truth. In the episode today, we're going to talk about a lot of things, many things. But before we do, remember this podcast is grassroots. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Rate it. Give it a comment. This stuff really helps. It's free. It takes a second. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Regular Guy News. All of our broadcasts are, you could see where our various /1 correspondents are broadcasting from. We have a studio here. We have a ticker, like a real news source. We have a ticker. Okay, so you can see all that on the YouTube. Don't short yourself. Subscribe in there for free. And then also tell one friend about the show, Bernie Sanders style. Tell one friend, Bernie Sanders, huge meme guy, one of the top meme guys this week. Couldn't get enough. I mean, maybe the joke that died the quickest. Like, it rose so high, so fast, and died really quick. But I still love to see it. An old Jewish man with mittens. Don't we love it? We love it, folks. We love mittens, folks. We love it. It's confirmed. Anyway, before I babble and blabble, we need to bring in our chief White House correspondent / the only RGN correspondent. She does all the corresponding, okay? She's out, I believe, in Washington, D.C. Let's see if we check out Erin Finnerty. Are you out in the field? Erin.
Hello, Dan.
Oh, all right. She's
Hello.
Here. Erin.
Yes.
Erin.
Yes, Dan.
Wow, Erin. Glad we connected with you. I got nervous about it.
Happy to be here today, Dan. Thank you.
Erin, you're at the White House today?
Yes, I'm at the White House today. It is the year of our Lord 2021. I'm in present times, and
Yes.
I'm outside the White House.
Wow. I see there's a dog in the back there. There's
actually 2 dogs.
2 dogs? Oh, wow. There's 2 dogs there. Unbelievable.
Yeah, you see them? Champ, Major. I'm not sure which is which.
Oh, those are Joe Biden's dogs, Champ and
these
Major.
are Uncle Joe's dogs.
Wow, unbelievable that Uncle's generous to Joe, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. RGN has been granted.
I mean, he probably is a nephew, but I mean,
Yeah.
he's a great grandpa as well.
Well, I call him Uncle Joe, and RGN has been granted exclusive access to Champ and Major, so that's why I'm in such close proximity to these guys. Yeah.
Bringing dogs back to the White House, which, as far as I'm concerned, bringing humanity back to the White House.
First rescue dog in all of White House history.
Wow. So is that true?
Yeah.
Well,
Joe
Obama
Biden
had allergies, right? So he had a Portuguese water dog.
Yeah, he had 2, Sonny and Bo, but I'm not sure which, Champ or Major. One of them was adopted from, I think, the Delaware Humane Society. So, rescue.
God.
What a guy,
This
right?
is like a dream. People don't know this. I went to University of Delaware, a place that I had no pride in going to until January 20th, 2021, when it became an honorary Ivy League school, a school that many people would say is known for Rich Gannon and probably the most frat deaths, I don't even know, of any college. And now has the Jill Biden, a doctorate from the University of Delaware. I didn't even know they had doctorate programs there. Anyway, so just know that I have the same degree as our president, and I have the same degree from where Jill Biden got her doctorate. I went to that same school, so it means I know what I'm talking about, folks. Anyway, we have, I had, you know what? I'm gonna save an announcement for the end of the show. We have an announcement at the end of the show.
Stay tuned, folks.
Of what's going to be going on, but it's not doesn't start till next week, so we'll save it to the end. Okay? So we'll reward the people who stay till the end, unless you're someone who click all the way to the end. And by the way, it doesn't bother me at all because you hit listen. And that's how this works, baby. I'm all about the clicks. Okay, so Erin, before we get into your I'm seeing we have a special report from you today.
Yes, Stan. We have a breaking special report today, hot off the press.
It would be foolish to send you to the White House and have you do no reporting. Now, we have done episodes in the past where you've come on location without a special report, and that was on us. You know what I mean? We got so caught up in talking to Phyllis, our travel agent, and the travel took too much. You didn't have time to do any investigating.
Travel days are crazy, and time travel days are really crazy.
Yeah, I know. A couple weeks ago, you reported from 1847.
1814. August 1814.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Only 33 years off, folks.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So before we get to your special report, I'd just like to say, had a really odd customer service situation that I would like people to know about.
Go on.
So, I don't know. I want to get your opinion. You think this is COVID related? This or is customer service just dead in America? And then I want to just think about why is it dead? Okay. So anyway, let's just get right into it. Okay. Now look, does the product matter in this scenario? No. It could be any product. Okay. But will I withhold that information from you guys? No, I will not. Even though it shames me. Bless you. Did you put a coat on? I mean, you're outside in the cold there.
Nah, I'm cool.
Okay, all right. You're on the White House lawn.
Yeah. It's late January.
Okay, so there's this new product going on sale. It's a Magic the Gathering product, okay? I'm a collector of Magic the Gathering cards since I'm a kid, okay? Yeah. Men need to collect. It is what it is, okay? Mm-hmm. We collect things. We hoard things. Not hoard things. We have things that trinkets. Men need little trinkets or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why.
You need a thing.
Right. Okay, so look. I messaged the guy. They have open DMs, okay? Which I'm like, oh, what a great customer service thing. They're open. I said, hey, do you have this product for pre-sale? Okay? Mm-hmm. He said, okay. He said, those don't go on pre-sale. We'll have them on the day they're released. So I'm like, okay, so the only way to get this is to come in store on February 5th. Can't prepay? That was me. Okay? Uh-huh. He says, for those, yes. You can order it on the website on the 5th. Okay. I said, okay, thank you. Thinking this was the end. Okay? Uh-huh. This guy hits me with a follow-through. He says, you message me every new set asking questions, and then you never buy anything. I hope you come in and pick some stuff up. Okay.
Really?
Erin, can I just get your initial reaction to that part? Because there's a little more.
Okay, well, right off the bat, first impression is did not need the tag on. Didn't need the tag on. Could have just left it at that.
Right. And then here's my response. I go, I'll buy it right now. Put it up on the site.
Oh, you tagged him back. Hit
him back. All right. And then he goes, I can't because we don't know how many we're getting until they get here. You could only order a certain number of boxes. This is how the industry works. Okay.
Wow, you got schooled a little bit.
Okay.
The industry.
Okay, so I don't respond. That's the end of that.
Oh, okay.
So here's the deal. Why shame a customer for asking questions and then keeping track of when I buy stuff? Now, you out there, you see why I didn't buy anything, right? Because he's not trying to sell me anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, then he hit you with that tag on, which is guilt tripping you for asking questions and not buying anything. And have you in the past asked them other questions?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I have it, and I never like the answer, so I go to a different business.
Okay.
I go to another business that is easier to buy from. Okay.
Maybe he should know that.
So I almost wrote this guy a whole message. Now, the other thing about this is that I used to pre-pandemic buy a lot of stuff from there. He's referring to, this is a newer employee from the pandemic time, okay? He doesn't know when it used to be open. I used to go in, I used to play Magic there, and I used to buy cards there while I was there.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, I need something. I'd buy it while I was there to support the store for allowing me to be in there. But now I don't go, and there's another business. They offer more rewards. Their customer service better. Not to mention, they had this thing up for pre-order. Even though he told me this is how the industry works.
That's interesting.
Now, Erin, I mean, I know we cover all kinds of news here. We cover all the culture, the news.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think this is just a COVID thing where this guy's just fucking had it? He's like, yo, people like I am just need to sell something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to rabbi every situation. Same thing as last week. I see it from both sides. Is this guy just so frustrated? And he did put a smiley face at the end. Like, I hope you come by and buy something. Smiley face. Right? So he did try to soften it, even though, you can't soften something that is not soft. It's like too aggro for a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't say, like, no offense, your face sucks. Right? You can't say that. So you can't cross the boundary.
Yeah, then it just seems passive aggressive. But if I kind of think about what is in this person's heart, they probably see, hey, he's from the COVID era. And he's like, maybe they really do need your sales. And he's like, well, this guy's asking questions all the time, but he never buys anything. So, maybe he's just, like you said, like frustrated that maybe they're not doing as well.
But Erin, am I crazy that there was a time in the world where it was like, I'd say something like, I'll buy it right now, put it up on the site, right? And he goes like, listen, because you always ask me questions that I really want to lock your business in, I'm going to put one aside for you. I'm not supposed to do this, right?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not supposed, and then I would shop there every time.
Totally. Like, and that's the name of the game at a lot of these places. Like, that seems totally reasonable. And it's like, well, it's not online to pre-order because they don't know how many they're going to get, but they do know that they're going to get them. So they're going to get at least one.
That's my point,
If
Erin.
it's me, I would be like, hey, don't know how we're going to get, but you can Venmo me $20 and I'll set one aside just for you. Come by and pick it up.
So here's what I'll say is that is like the reason I think this is relevant to this pod, especially going into your special report, is like, I do think this is COVID related. I do think this guy is like, man, like no one's in here. We're not making money. This guy's messaging me. He's messaging every shop in town to find the best prices, which is not what I'm doing. All I'm trying to do is not like, I just want to collect the shit, but I don't want to like run all over town. I'm not like a big investor, and like sometimes this shit sells out and then you got to go find it in this store, that store. I'm looking to just prepay now. I don't even care if it's $10 more than it's supposed to be. I just want to know, like, I don't need to show up the day of. I can come 3 days later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these nerds chase this shit down.
Right.
But you're like, what? I felt like I remember my dad. We used to go into the deli every morning when he would drive me to school in high school. And he'd be like, I'm running late. And they'd be like, yeah, just pay me tomorrow.
Right.
He had like a tab.
Or like at a comic book store, it's like, hey, we get shipment on Tuesday. This is what you're looking for. We don't have it, but I'll write down your info and then I'll pull those out for you free of charge. You don't even have to pay first. And then you can come pick them up.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I almost wrote him the longest message back. And I held back because I was like, this guy must be struggling to send me this message like this. But I still think I should have. And the message, this is the thing I have, is like, I really respect people who are working. Like, I have a tough time. So, like, I've had, like, a very elitist. So I'd have, like, people come clean my house every once in a while, and they come by and, like, I'm never going, like, you missed this spot. or like I have had people break shit. I'm never like getting. I'm like, hey, whatever, like expensive shit.
Right.
I had a cleaning lady just ruin my keyboard. I had to that day go out, like she must have sprayed like I don't know Clorox on my keyboard, but I'm like,
Oh
you're
my
cleaning my
God.
house, like you know what I mean? And people are
Mhm.
like, you're crazy. You don't say anything. I'm like, no, I don't say anything because
Yeah.
I'm the fortunate one in this scenario. You know,
Mhm.
that's me. I don't know. It's probably silly, but in this scenario, I want to try a message. It's like, hey, listen, you don't know me. I used to come in there all the time pre-pandemic and buy stuff. So I don't appreciate being shamed here. And I think that's not a great thing to do. Any message is a lead. You should see this as a lead. It's like someone that you could build loyalty with because they're interested in what you're selling. They're picking up what you're putting down. Most businesses don't know where to find customers. Now you have a lead. So offer me some value. If I'm you, I'd be like, hey, the other shop near you, they had pre-orders up. So I'm going to go with them. Plus, sometimes they offer extra things too so that
Right.
they put you out of business. You guys don't do that. So I'm saying build a relationship here, man. Like you shamed me, and I think that feedback would have been good, but I couldn't do it because you're like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I don't know. I
Softer,
think
softer version of that.
it should have
Softer
been,
version.
yes, it would have, if it was softer than what you just relayed to us here. I think it would, but I mean, like, if that person is struggling, they probably don't want to hear it from you, That's,
I know, but then where does this lead us? I mean, that now it feels like customers are the same as employees. Like it's like you can go. You're just. I feel it's never do. When I get good service, I'm blown away. You
mm,
know, I'm blown
hmm.
away. Is that just me?
Let's see. I don't know. I can't, I haven't had customer service in
I
a
know, right?
while.
Who fucking knows? That's what I'm saying. It's why it's so noticeable.
Yeah, I mean, I did like on Saturday, like I ordered a pizza. I pre-ordered a pizza and I didn't get half pepperoni like Mike wanted. So I had to follow up with the pizza person and
Right.
say, "Excuse me, is it too late? Can I add?" And they were like, "No, it's cool. Easy peasy. Just Venmo us $2." So, that felt good. Like that was easy and they were friendly about it, but, you know,
That's
is the
cool.
customer always right these days?
Mm, I don't
Hard to
know.
say.
You know,
I haven't received any bad customer service in a while, I'll say.
all right, good. Maybe it's just me. You think I'm just I have a doomed cloud over me. Anyway, speaking of doom clouds, let's move on from that story. I thought it was interesting, folks, because I got to get into the next thing I'm gonna talk
Okay.
about. But I'm excited to talk to you about. I have my own, many would say, special report today. But Erin,
Oh, I can't wait for that.
you're in Washington D.C. We have to jump over to you to discuss what's going on with COVID-19, what's going on with the vaccine. I'll say this on my end before we get into your special report, as someone who is a COVID-19 survivor, which sounds like a joke, but it sounds crazy to say because I guess most people survive, but I guess I am. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a hat that you would like to wear it. It makes sense. But I'm fully not coughing. I think I'm fully recovered at this point.
Yeah, your
Uh,
face isn't red anymore.
yeah, that was from the steroids.
The roids.
Well, they gave me steroids and it made me nuts.
Wow.
It was a good time. Those steroids were a good time.
That's
I
cool.
gotta be honest. I might see if I can get a refill on those.
Hell yeah.
They're not the good. They don't. They're not to get you jack steroids. The only thing I will say is that I'm working out again. I'm about like 2 weeks into like heavy lifting, full on
Oh,
workouts, like back
great.
into like full form.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I will say is that I notice I'm winded a little faster. You know.
That makes sense.
But I don't know if that's from the COVID. Like this is I'm in like the mind fuck phase where you're like, is this COVID related? Is that not? I don't know. I'm like, whoa, I'm really tired, but it's early. But you're like, I'm working out again, and you're like always like, what's the COVID? What's the COVID? I don't know. It's you know,
Yeah.
so
Well, it's
it's
the
really
same
weird.
thing like when even if you haven't had COVID, like you wake up with a sniffle or you're
Right.
like like you can't clear your throat. You're like, is this COVID? So
Yeah,
I
like I
think
woke up
everyone has that.
today feeling like a little more run down than usual, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like kind of like PTSD, like scared it's coming back.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna get a second hit or something, So
Right.
it's kind of scary in that way, like because when you have like the flu or something, once it's over, you're never thinking about it again,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
then and then so I don't know. So in that way, I'm fine. But anyway, Erin,
Mm-hmm.
are
Yeah.
you ready for your
Yeah,
special
I'm
report?
ready. Yeah.
Okay.
Team me up.
All right, Erin, let's get over to special report over at the White House.
Okay.
All right, Erin, you're at the White
Thank you,
House.
Dan.
What's going
Yes.
on with this vaccine situation?
All right.
Where are we at? Are we gonna be vaccinated? Can we go back to normal? What's happening?
Yes, I'm live here today at the White House. Earlier this afternoon, President Joe Biden announced a big announcement on the COVID vaccine front. He announced the purchase of 200 million more vaccine doses that are on order and on their way to the United States. So,
From what do we know which vaccine?
it's 100 of the Moderna and 100 million of the Pfizer. Yeah. So
Right.
100 million of each.
I saw that Merck just stopped making the vaccine. They just gave up on their
Yeah.
vaccine hunt.
Mm-hmm.
But the AstraZeneca one's gonna get approved
AstraZeneca,
soon,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's a Johnson & Johnson vaccine out there that is a 1-dose unit. So instead of going back for a follow-up shot, it's just one. But so the 200 million that were announced today are between Pfizer and Moderna. So with these additional doses, Joe Biden said that there would be enough to fully vaccinate 300 million Americans by the end of summer or early fall.
Now, how many Americans are there?
I think there's like 550 million.
Okay.
So
Kind of
that's
crazy. Not that many of them vote when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And when they start talking
Yeah.
about the amount of people they're vaccinating, and then you're like, yeah, but like, wait, what? But like Trump only got like 70
Oh, Dan,
million.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's 320.
It's 300 something million,
yeah,
right?
Sorry.
Yeah, because the doses, it's 300 million Americans or something. But
Mhm.
you're like, only half of Americans vote, it looks like. And that's high turnout, you know?
Incredibly high turnout. Yeah.
Now, I don't know what percentage
Record
are like
highs.
under 18 and not like ineligible or
Sure,
like,
sure.
I was going to say illegal immigrant, like, but is there fucking, you know what? Like, I'm not even like the PC police, but like, I really don't like be like illegal immigrant. It's like, it's too.
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even we can argue about if we have too many people in this country illegally and blah blah blah. But like, they're still human beings. What do we call
Right.
it? Immigrants, undocumented
Undocumented
workers,
Yeah.
undocumented. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know what percentage of that,
Undocs.
but 300 million doses means actually 150 million vaccines, right?
Yes, exactly. So, as part of the new efforts announced today, like I said, we're getting 100 million more from Pfizer and Moderna. These are the 2-dose vaccines, and they are working to step up production. And these
Right.
additional doses will be available this summer. So, this new purchase increases the planned vaccine supply by 50%. So, the president took action today to increase the weekly supply to states, tribes, and territories. So we're going from 8.6 million doses to a minimum of 10 million doses weekly. And he announced this 3-week vaccine supply forecast, which right now it's only 1 week. So they can't
Right.
plan ahead that far. So now it's going to give you an additional 2 weeks
Right.
forecast for what your supply will look like. And the new efforts come one day after the president said he expects that the U.S. will soon be able to vaccinate 1.5 million per day, which is an increase from the previous target of 1 million per day. So we could
Right.
be there in about 3 weeks, according to the president.
Right. Well, weren't they saying they were going to do 1.4 by next week or something?
Yeah. So, and then finally.
It sounds like we're moving so fast to me. Like they're always like they're like it's a mess. We're giving 1 million vaccines a day. Am I so small minded, Erin? Like we know that I am small minded because I'm like blown every time the plane takes off. I'm like blown away.
Right.
You know, like
like worked. Holy shit.
I still can't believe that. Like I know whenever I go on a plane, I like fly from LA to New York or something. I get off and I'm like, wow, I'm in New York. Like. It's unbelievable. I was there a minute ago. Now I'm here.
I think that way too. I'm like, I was just in like a tube that was rocketing through the sky. And now I'm back on the ground.
Right. And you're like, oh man. But like, I remember when I was in LA, I was like, oh, it's such a long flight. But now it's over and I'm here already. And that didn't feel that long, really. Like, I always have these thoughts like I'm a little kid every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're small-minded, so.
Yeah, we hate to hear it, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So we're Biden's goal is 100 million shots for his first 100 days in office. So we'll see how it goes. But now we're looking at that we might top that initial goal with this new 1.5 million doses administered per day.
Yeah, so that's great. Erin, thank you for that special report. Thank you
you're
for
welcome, Dan. Live from the White House.
Right. And so it seems like what they're saying is that Trump's infrastructure for this was almost non-existent.
It was non-existent. Yeah.
It's not surprising to me at all. But it is crazy because it's like if you see there was I was watching a clip on Cuomo, and it was a clip from a week before, like before Biden was the president, and it was the CDC director. Maybe it was the new CDC director. I don't know. That CDC director was that guy, not Robert Redford, but I call him Robert Redfield. Robert Redford. I think his name's Robert Redfield, but I call him Robert Redfield. Right? Like And he looks like an Amish dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy looks real Amish. That I don't know. Anyways, and she was like, "We don't know how many vaccines we have." You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then Biden's in office, and they're still like, "We don't know how many vaccines we have." And you're like, "Is that hard to count? Like, where are they being made? Isn't it like?" I don't know. Everything in my life is so automated. I'm kind of like, you can't count how many vaccines you have. I don't know. It seems so weird.
I feel like it was kind of just like when they came into it, maybe it was just like everything was in shambles. So how could they know? And also like doses had to be thrown away. Like
right.
And where can you like aggregate that information and know really how many there are?
I understand why it would be difficult to document like how many people got vaccinated or like how many vaccines went to waste, because we don't have any kind of like national database for this shit. So it's not like, all right, there's as many vaccines. Now punch in the system when you wasted 50,000 doses or something, right? Like there's nothing national. We know we had no federal coordinated effort. So, you shipping vaccines to the state, then the state's doing their own thing with it. So there's just no way that you could have you have that. But you think that like Moderna and Pfizer would be able to be like, we made this amount, and then like, here's the amount we gave you. But I guess the federal government doesn't know what they have in reserve. I don't know. It's a mess. It just seems like maybe I'm really big-minded, okay? But I don't think it's that hard. I mean, listen, I have a CPA license in the state of New York and the state of California. I'm a numbers guy. The stuff that people keep track of in their like books and their financial statements and their tax returns, like, I don't know. I believe this to be actually not insanely hard. I mean, we have grocery stores that have perpetual inventory systems and stuff.
True.
Like, I don't know. I don't fully understand when they're like, we don't know how many vaccines we have. That's the thing. I'm like, that seems like something you should really be able to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I bet that like,
I get it.
Like a tortilla manufacturer knows how many tortillas they made and shipped out in a day, right? Anyway, you love to hear it. So, yeah. All right. I want to tell you something quick I learned about the vaccine, a little local news. So there was an LA Times article about the fact that like vaccines at like around 5:30, after they defrost the vaccines, if people don't show up, people are lined up to get these vaccines.
Yeah. The spares.
Right. And so in LA, people were like heading down to like Compton and more like lower income areas where people have a harder time to show up to their appointment or whatever, or their kid got sick or whatever. They're working overtime as a nurse, you know, something like that. And people are waiting in line to get these vaccines.
Wow.
Like rich people, you know?
That's interesting.
Just
on the hope that someone won't show up and there'll be extra, like, and they'll fill
my
the
understanding
spot.
of it, is that like there was like probably like 80 people getting vaccinated a day from this, from that, you know, and then people waiting in line, like, you know, reading the magazine and they're just waiting. Yeah, that's how crazy this shit is. Because once they defrost the vaccine, you put it in any arm that you find.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, like they're giving it out at like I keep seeing that story about the pharmacy in New York where it was just like, hey guys, I have 2 extras here. Do you want it?
I was going to do that for the pod. I was thinking about like, I'm going to go try as hard as I can to get one of these vaccines. But then I was reading that I can't get vaccinated yet because I had COVID.
Because you had it. Well, my plan is, so I'm married to an essential worker who will be in phase 1B.
Good for you.
Really great for me. And so he'll be in phase 1B of the vaccine rollout. So my scheme is to accompany him to his vaccine appointment and be like,
his
hey,
caretaker.
You got any extras? You know?
I think you could say you're his caretaker. I mean,
well, I am his caretaker.
It's an odd thing, and something I keep hearing about is that like like my brother, his fiance is a nurse, so she gets vaccinated. Probably you should vaccinate the whole household, right?
Right. Well, they're doing that for old people, right? Like if you're a caretaker for someone 65
right.
And
Well, these
over.
are young people, though, you know.
And I think family members too of people who work in like older communities or like old folks' homes and stuff are also eligible.
I also want to talk about one more thing about this, and then we'll head into my segment here. But I was watching Bill Maher, and he always makes this point about. It's a good point, and it's also like, to me, a waste of time point. He makes this point about the government not talking about people getting in shape, cleaning up their diets. You know, the obesity epidemic in this country, which is true and a really good point. But his point is like, hey, the government doesn't have the nuts to be like, take care of yourself or pandemics will kill you, you know? And I'm like, listen, there's a great point there. There's a great point there, which is like, everyone should learn a lesson here. You should be healthy because your health is at risk when you're not healthy, right? I mean, this is truly the most RGN way to say that. You should be healthy because your health is at risk if you're not healthy. How many healths can I throw into one phrase? You know? But that's how simple it is. That is true. And the government should be not feeding kids trash food, right? That's true. Michelle Obama this was her big thing. But what like we have like 25 million people with COVID. Like we have like someone described it. I was watching that show, The Circus, which is on Showtime. Which, by the way, the show The Circus, I don't know if I recommend it. I would like to say this: it's like it's the news if you want to see it shot cinematically. Like if you want single cam, the news. That's what I'd say it is. Like it's not like anything special, to be honest. Like I'm not sure they're trying to like. I think what they're trying to do is be like, we're on the ground. Here's the feel of it. But it has it's focused more on being. I want to say cinematic, like stylized, than just being like Vice, where it's like Vice has the like Vice is on the fucking Capitol Hill floor.
Right.
These guys are showing you the footage you see on cable news, but with music behind it.
Like it's like got a score and it's full screen. It doesn't have the ticker at the bottom.
It's a little
instead. Vice is like on the ground, you know, holding the camera.
Right. And it's a little unclear what the host guys do. There's like 4 hosts. It's a little unclear what their roles are. Like, this show might as well just be footage, and we just watch footage and interpret it as we must. Like, but then they kind of are like, it's crazy, man. They get together and they're like, it's crazy what's going on. Like they're just like, it's nuts what's happening. And like one guy's a cowboy, and one guy's this bald guy who like dresses way too like young. It's kind of uncomfortable, and they're like, dude, what's going on right now? It's man, I don't know. Like that's my impression of the show. It's like this is a circus. I mean, this is a circus, guys. Anyway, that being said, it's no Axios, but I'll watch it.
Ooh.
And why did I bring this show up? The circus. I don't know, because I was too busy shitting on it.
You were talking about Bill Maher.
Well, those guys, the main guy on the circus, he goes on a bunch, but I don't remember my point about the circus is. I'm sure it'll come back to me.
Whatever. Don't watch the circus or don't.
It's more just like one of those shows. It's like it's a non-essential worker. The show.
Yeah.
It's fluff. It's like Showtime needs their news show that's not Bill Maher. They don't want to do a Bill Maher, and this is what it is. And it's a little like, I guess it's like footage, but I don't know. I feel like none of the footage is like stuff I haven't seen. So I don't know. I don't think it's particularly mind blowing. I'll remember why I brought it up to begin with. But if you want to check it out, if you're looking for more news or you're tired of seeing cable news commercials, it's good to put on. Anyway, so we'll see what's gonna happen with this vaccine shit. I don't know, but the point I was making about Bill Maher is it's like, dude, like everyone's has this thing already, so you're not gonna lose 100 pounds before COVID is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, like that's like save that. Not that whatever conversation he has really does anything. It's more of just a show. It's like it's a comedy entertainment show, but like. What, like, yeah, okay, so people should lose weight. Right now, people lost their jobs. They're on no money. So now you're telling them to pick up jogging? Like, what kind of, like, out-of-touch conversation are you having?
I know.
I agree with you. Now, he's making the point that the government doesn't have the balls to tell people the best thing you could do for yourself is to be healthy. But that's like telling someone... like, oh, preventative treatment is going to help your heart attack that you already are having.
Right.
It's so silly. It's just,
yeah, and I mean,
it's like, it's why people don't like his show. Well, I love the show. Right. Personally, I find it to be a good show, but it's like, anyway.
I just don't think it's like really appropriate. Like, we're talking about vaccines and science and like, yes, losing weight if you have it will maybe reduce your chances of like getting really sick. But first of all, no one wants to be told that anyways. Second of all, it kind of detracts from this whole point of like wearing masks, being safe, social distancing. You can't add like stop being a fat ass to the mix,
That's what it comes off as, and I believe that's why he does it. Like, I don't think he's actually.
Well, I've also
I think
seen
it's just like it's a provocative thing to say. And it's like something that other people aren't saying that is based in like, yeah, it's true, but
I think a lot of COVID deniers use that too. Like I've seen like bad takes on Twitter where it's like, well, if you're getting sick and dying from this, maybe you should try to lose weight because like if you were physically fit, it wouldn't even be a problem for you. So that attitude is definitely out there.
Yeah. Also, it's also the kind of thing where you're like, it's like the kind of thing where someone is like, you have no kids, but you see somebody smack their kid on the butt or something. And then you're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they hit their kid. And you're like, you don't know shit about raising kids or where raising. And like, it's like, yeah, not everyone gets it right all the time. Should you be doing that? No. But like, do you have this kid fucking 24 hours a day? It's just like, stop judging people. And it doesn't mean somebody's bad because you're like, oh, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, he's a guy, no kids, private chef, millions of dollars, who is saying, and the fact that he doesn't see that is so crazy to me.
Oh, I can't wait.
Anyway, let's move on to my special report. So, Erin. Okay, and I think where we're headed now with the Trump is out, okay? And I'm thinking about where this country is headed, okay? And let me tell you, it's dark, okay? And I'm not even saying this is just a thing with our country. I believe this to be an epidemic, but the rise of dis and misinformation. If we think what was Trump's legacy, that's a major part of it, And so my thing is like, I saw John Swan on Axios. I've said this before. People don't know how to combat this. Like the people I respect, like smart people. We talked about Section 230, the social media stuff. It's like a stopping point for conversation. I have a friend who works at Facebook. I talked to him about it. He brings up some good points to me. We all hit this like stopping point of like, I don't know, where is free speech and truth? Where do they mix? It's not that simple. So, I'm gonna bring my new segment. It is called the Disinformation Station. Okay, ready? Everybody, get ready for the Disinformation Station, brought to you by Chris Jericho, a spreader of disinformation. I play Chris Jericho, who I'm a huge fan of. He's one of my guys, a professional wrestler, but on his podcast, he's kind of like one of those dudes similar to Joe Rogan, he's like, I'm just talking to people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just talking to people. And you're like, well, I don't know. It depends on who it is. You're talking to Alex Jones. Is giving that guy a microphone and not only challenging him about Sandy Hook proper? In my opinion, no. I could never sit down with that guy and get past that. So some people are like, oh, well, that's funny. It's funny. You don't understand comedy. It's like, nah, I get comedy. I get comedy. And
Alex Jones
other people don't get comedy. Well, he could be. So Erin, I'm gonna play. Okay. So I'm gonna start with this video. I'm gonna talk to you about my experience with this video. Now I'm gonna play the audio here on the pod from this video, and it's like 4 minutes long, but it's worth every minute of it, and it's important to hear the whole thing. Okay. So I know that's a long clip for a show, but just you'll see why I think it's important.
Right.
And it's similar to that woman that I played the other day. Like I played that shaman woman.
My guides
you know what I mean?
Are telling me that 4.5 minutes is a little long for a clip.
Yes, what are they saying?
My guides are also telling me to trust you.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's good. That's good. It's very relevant to this. Okay. So, all right. This video, I'm going to give you context. 4-minute video. This video was a friend of mine who will name anonymous, went on a date with a girl, and she sent this video to him. Okay?
First date?
So this is a real video sent to, I believe so. This is a real video sent to him. Now, it's on YouTube. This video is called the Ancient. Ancient is in capitals, by the way. I'm not sure. It's all capital. I'm not really sure. The Ancient Technique to Making Tough Decisions. Okay? This video has 1.1 million views.
Oh, so the video is not ancient.
It came out in April 2020.
Is ancient. Okay.
The technique within is it. And all right, so I'm going to play it. Ready? Erin, get ready. I promise it's a good listen. Okay.
1991, scientists made a discovery, headway, that really opened the door to this conversation. They discovered every human heart, 40,000 or so specialized cells configured in a way that creates a neural network in the heart. It's their brain-like cells, but they're not in the brain, they're in the heart. And it's actually called the little brain in the heart. What they found, what the scientists discovered, is that these cells think independently of the cranial brain. They feel and they remember. And what that means is every experience that we have, even this one right now, I'm registering this experience in 2 places. This is a good experience, so it's not a problem. I'm registering in my cranial mind as well as in my heart. But if we were having a trauma, it would still be registered in both places. And if I tried to heal that trauma only through thinking about it or talking about, from my mind, it might feel incomplete. The healing may feel incomplete. And the reason is because I've only addressed what happened in here. I haven't addressed what happened in here. And we know this intuitively. I did an experiment a few years ago. Every culture I went to, and every age group, I asked little kids, I said, where are you sitting right now? Show me where you're sitting. And people say, I'm sitting right here. They say, right here. Or you ask the indigenous people, where do you live? Well, this is my home. And almost instinctively, we know that the heart is the seat of our existence, the seat of our being. You don't see them hitting their head, or their arm or something else. So when we talk about heart intelligence, what we're talking about is the ability for these neurons to communicate with the neurons in a way that is meaningful to those neurons. These neurons are linked to a wisdom, to an intelligence that is right for us. Mine is right for me, yours is right for you. And any question that you ask this intelligence, it will answer you in a way that will serve you in that moment. It'll never tell you to do anything dangerous or anything that would hurt anyone else. I'll give you a perfect example. I was in Australia over 9/11. Couldn't get back into my own country until the flights were flying again. And when they did fly, I was in Sydney, Australia, and there was a Boeing 747, that's a big plane, with fewer than 20 people that were going to come to the US. And there was, at the ticket counter, we were at the gate to board, and the agent said, there's so few people, we're not going to board by boarding rows. You can board this plane if you want to and go to America. And I said, well, you don't sound very encouraging. She says, I don't know what happened in that country. She says, but this plane's going to go there if you want to go there. I don't know if it's going to happen again. I don't know if it's over, but if you want to get on the plane, get on the plane. And really didn't instill a lot of confidence in me or the other people that were there. I said, hold that thought, just wait a minute. And I stepped around the corner, and there's a technique where you can literally, you touch your heart like this. And when you touch your heart, your awareness will always go to the place where you feel the touch. So when you call your attention into your heart center in this way, and you slow your breathing, just a few breaths slower than usual. When you slow your breathing, it tells your body that you are safe. You're in a place that's safe. And when you're safe, and you feel safe, it's a switch. It's like an emotional trigger that frees the rejuvenating and the healing chemistry in the body, because the stress and survival chemistry is not needed if you feel safe. So when you slow your breathing and focus in your heart, that is the doorway, and shamans will do this all the time. Monks, nuns, you see them do this all the time, to that heart intelligence. And I asked my heart, my heart, is this a safe flight for me to take? Because my head, if you ask your head, this is so interesting scientifically, because the brain's a polarity organ, left and right brain. And there's always going to be a right and a wrong, good and a bad, success, failure. And if you ask your brain a question under pressure, your brain will go through the logic and the ego loops that will keep you from making the answer. When you ask your heart, the heart's not a polarity organ. So you consciously free yourself from those loops into what is called heart intelligence. And generally your heart will answer. Your heart knows you very well. It's been with you a long time. Your heart will answer before you even finish the question.
Yeah, Dan.
Erin,
I'm
what are you a
touching my
changed woman
heart,
now?
and I'm barely breathing right now. And the answer is no. I'm not a changed woman.
Yeah, I'm holding my heart. And it's
yeah.
telling me that 9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That my heart intelligence is
Right.
telling me that.
And like maybe someone
that
should
I
have
should
told
watch Loose
that
Change.
agent at the
So,
gate
Erin,
in Sydney
okay, this is a
what happened
video.
in America. I don't know what's happening in that country.
I don't know what's happening in that
Okay.
country. Okay, let's take a step back. I want to remind you guys, this video, first off, is called The Ancient Technique to Making Tough Decisions. Try it now. It has a really clickbaity title to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay, which, by the way, no shade. That's kind of the game on YouTube. You know what I mean? You're trying to get, I've noticed I do that on my videos. They go up. I get that. But this guy has 1 million views talking about heart intelligence. Now, one thing I want to do before we just talk about how we feel about it, let's just go through like the facts of this situation. Let's go all right, so I'm looking at the comment section. Like, who's watching this, right? And here's a woman. Here's some of the comments. Okay. It's this guy. He says, when you feel anxious, tap gently over the heart and say, all is well. And then there's a bunch of comments to that of people trying that. And then there's another one going, we have 3 brains, brain,
Okay.
heart, and gut. There are memories in all 3. Okay. The gut has more neurons than the heart.
Spinal
Solution,
cords.
except the brain, gut, heart, spinal cords
interesting.
as all part of the system that is connected. Love them and they will love you back. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm trying to find this one was really, there was a real emotional one.
one. Oh no. Maybe someone felt self-conscious.
Maybe it got deleted since I watched. Anyway, my point is that like I see squirrels touch their heart like that when I give them peanuts. And now when I feed the squirrels at my friend's house, I touch my heart like that, and the squirrels do the same, and they come closer to accept the peanuts. Oh, here it is. My teenage son donated his heart, and I was blessed enough to meet with him. He never liked certain foods, music, etc. Oddly enough, he began to crave and love things he never liked and he had. No way of knowing these were my son's favorite. It's not written very well. I was stunned and strangely comforted at the same time. And then he asked me if I wanted to hear his heartbeat. I did, and I will never be able to put into words outpouring of emotions that ran through my heart, mind, and soul. So I'm a firm believer that the heart holds memories. So look. Yeah. Listen, I'm not knocking this woman for that. It has 108 replies. That's a very emotional thing. Imagine your son died, and then it's actually their organs put to use, and then you want to believe that. And see, this is the thing here is that like, I really
okay.
All right. I don't know. We're gonna get into my research and stuff, but just gut feeling when I watch this, it's like this is right, like. To me,
cuckoo.
This is just nuts to me. It's absolutely insane, and it's the problem with where we're at as a society. Is like people want to think too much. They want to feel too much. They have it's too much coping. It's too much. You know, I saw this thing. It was like the
we know that. We know that
self-help industry is unregulated and a multi-billion-dollar business.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And then there was it was also in the podcast about the guru.
That's what it is. It's from
Nexium.
Like, it was in the
Sweat
Nexium
Lodge, like completely unregulated, and people died.
Here's the deal. I don't know. I'm not in any. I'd be doing the wrong thing if I also said that this is bullshit without looking into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no difference. I feel like it sounds like bullshit based on what I know. But maybe there's it. Like, all right, if I said just initial instinct on this thing is like, he said healing chemistry. He was a lot of pseudoscience, fugazi terms that like were fillers. You have to listen to these like filler. There's like filler terms where you're like polarity organ.
Polarity organ, like
the logic is that because you have 2 sides of your brain,
right,
you're going to be pulled right brain, left brain, but you only have one heart. Which I don't know why you're distinguishing between the chambers of the heart. Why are those? You know, it's
right.
I guess I'm saying it's like those. Do we know if those neurons are part of this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what are we exactly talking about? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I guess it's just like, pseudoscience, because he's talking about how he's saying that your heart has memories, right? But memories are like a thought thing, and I feel like thought only is like a neurological phenomenon, not a cardiological phenomenon. So I don't see.
It's like the brain's like kind of like a hard drive. It has like storage space.
Right.
And the heart is more of like an engine, right? For like pumping blood throughout the body. Now you're telling me there's heart intelligence. Here's where you lose me. Where you start to, you might tell me, oh, wow, actually there's neurons in the heart, and the heart and brain speak way more than we realize. Oh, maybe I could buy that, right? I don't know. I don't know about that. But when you think about what I'm hearing is this kind of heart, like the Valentine's Day heart.
Yeah.
I'm hearing like, like the Notebook heart, like follow your heart,
right,
being
like
scientific.
Heart.
And that's where I start being like, that feels very dumb to me, you know?
Yes.
And a million people watch this, believe this, and people are dying to believe this stuff, right? Okay, so here's what I did. Erin,
Okay.
I looked into it. I think you're going to be
Okay.
surprised where I come out on all this, okay?
Okay.
So it's hard to remember exactly what, but I have like 5 or 6 articles. It goes against my two article dip
Wow,
scenario.
you dug deep for this special. This is an extra special report.
Okay, so first thing I did was I start looking for like heart neurons debunk, okay?
Uh-huh.
And first thing I find is something called pain. Is it all in the brain or the heart? An article, okay? And it says recent findings. This article is it's posted in 2019, okay? And I'll get to citing it in a second. Dr. Armour in 1991 discovered that the heart has its little brain or intrinsic cardiac nervous system, which is essentially what that guy's saying in the video.
Right, little brain.
This heart brain is composed of approximately 40,000 neurons. It's exactly what this guy said. That are alike neurons in the brain, meaning that the heart has its own nervous system. In addition, the heart communicates with the brain in many methods: neurologically, biochemically, biophysically, and energetically. The vagus nerve, which is 80% afferent. This sounds more scientific,
Yeah.
carries information from the heart and other internal organs to the brain. Signals from the heart brain, in quotes, heart brain, redirect to the medulla, hypothalamus, thalamus, and amygdala, and the cerebral cortex. Thus, the heart sends more signals to the brain than vice versa. Research has demonstrated that pain perception is modulated by neural pathways and methods targeting at the heart, rhythm, coherence, feedback technique, whatever. The heart is not just a pump. It has a neural network or a little brain. The methods targeting the heart modulate pain regions. These methods, okay, so here's the thing. The methods targeting the heart modulate pain regions in the brain. These methods seem to modulate the key changes that occur in the brain's regions and are involved in cognitive and emotional factors of pain. Thus, the heart is probably a key moderator of pain. Okay.
Oh, well, that's
So,
interesting.
Interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take one step backwards. This website is called PubMed.
Oh,
It's
PubMed.
National Library of Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
National Center for Biotechnology Information.
Okay.
PubMed.gov.
Yeah,
And
PubMed is a legit site.
Is it?
Yeah, I used to work for a researcher in the dental field, and PubMed is a place you would go for citations and stuff like that.
Right. So we can trust this, right?
Yeah, you're probably reading some sort of scholarly article from a journal, but not all journals are built equally. You know what I mean?
Right. But this is my point, Erin. How do I know that PubMed is legit? How would I know? The labels.
Well, PubMed,
The RGN.
you'd have to look at the source, the journal that the article you're reading that's published on PubMed. Find the name of that journal, and if it's, you can pretty much suss out if it's a legit scholarly source or not with that information.
Right. So here's the deal. This guy says purpose of the review. Scientists have reported that pain is always created by the brain. This may not be entirely true. Pain is not only sensory experience, but also can be associated with emotional, cognitive, and social components. The heart is considered the source of emotions, desire, and wisdom. The heart is considered the source of emotions. Therefore, the aim of this article is to review the available evidence about the role of the heart in pain modulation. Erin, this might be true. Do you understand? I don't. Now, here's the deal. Whether or not there's truth in this YouTube video is still bending the truth for its own benefit.
Yes.
They're taking it and making it like you can ask your heart questions because it feels emotions. And they're turning your heart into the emotional core. They're saying that your brain does more than we think. That's all I'm hearing. They're saying the heart is not just a pump. It has a neural network. The methods targeting the heart modulate pain regions in the brain. These methods seem to modulate the key changes that occur in the brain regions and are involved in the cognitive and emotional factors of pain. Thus, the heart is probably a key moderator of pain. How is that anything what that guy said? It's bending truth.
Yeah. Well, and he's presenting it as this ancient method for making decisions.
From 91?
Well, yeah. Well, it goes back to like
Right.
prehistoric times.
Right. But again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I still don't know. But anyway, I didn't even know this was legit until you told me that, Erin, proving your worth. Finally.
I mean, PubMed is a legit website. I don't know if the source that you found on PubMed is legit. Like, it could be like Journal of Metaphysical Hypotheses or something like that. Like,
right. Okay. So here's another article I found. It's from Science News.
okay.
Independent journalism since 1921. Now, if I believe correctly, Science News is actually legit. Was talked about. Fuck, I forget. But there was something about Science News during the COVID crisis.
Well, I think Scientific American was.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
It might be what you're thinking of, because they were the first. I think they endorsed Joe Biden for president, which has never been done.
Yes,
before.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, good call, Erin. Good call. That's why we have you on the ground.
Yeah.
This guy also says the heart has its own brain. Now scientists have drawn a detailed map of the brain called the intracardiac nervous system in rat hearts. The heart's big boss is the brain, but nerve cells in the heart have a say too. These neurons are thought to play a crucial role in heart health, helping to fine-tune heart rhythms and perhaps protecting people against certain kind of diseases. It says this says nothing about the emotional stuff. Is my point in this one.
Yeah.
I
found an interesting
on this
related study that I think would be worth sharing.
Yeah, go for it.
So talking about like whether your heart has memories or not, when you look it up, it brings up this question like,
right.
If you are the recipient of a heart transplant, because there's all these anecdotal tales about like, I received the heart of, someone who was a beer drinker, and then I received their heart and I never liked beer and now I like beer. So there was actually a study done of 47 patients. So if the heart has memories and you transplant it into another body, do those memories go with it? 79% of participants who received a heart transplant found that their personality had not changed at all from receiving this. No change. So they didn't inherit the memories. 15% that their personality had changed with a heart transplant, but because of the life-altering event of having a heart transplant. Only 6%, which is 3 people, felt that their personality changed due to a new heart. And this finding could be due to random chance, patients misattributing the real cause of the change in their personality to this heart transplant. So that study is old, but it would stand to reason based on that information that if your heart does have memories, it doesn't. Because if you give your heart to someone else, you don't suddenly have new memories.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. But, okay. So who is this guy, Erin? Can you look up who the guy Greg Braden is?
Oh,
this is the
Greg
guy who
Braden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look up Greg. What can you find?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Greg Braden. Greg with 2 G's. Braden.
Is it doctor or no? It doesn't say Dr. Greg Braden.
No. He is an American New Age author who's known for his appearances on Ancient Aliens and Missing Links and other publications linking science and spirituality.
Erin, this is more interesting than I even realized.
Yes, he became noted for his claim that the magnetic polarity of the Earth was about to change and that it was going to change human DNA.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he also believes he believes in the physical effects of collective prayer.
Okay, so I can buy into that because it's like, listen, when you hear what these guys are speaking about in your heart, it feels good. Like it's all meditative, right? It's all like Scientology. You come in for the audit. Mm-hmm. It's like I worked out this morning, and then after my workout was over, I closed my eyes and took some deep breaths, and you're like, oh man, you find Oh yeah, what a gorgeous guy. And you know what I mean? Like you have those moments. The Zen is real, like that. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So like, it's just like when you start making it science is when you start being like, all right, man. Like, you sure you're not just like calming me down? I mean, what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, so then there's this. All right, so here's the next part of this is that there's this place called Heart Math.
Okay.
Okay. And I found this thing. It's like there's this article. It's on Huffington Post. Okay. And it's this place. It's like the Heart Math Institute. Okay. And like I'll just give you one little snippet from this article because it's not the point. But I've made letting my heart talk to my brain a way of life because it's much more effective and offers flow, ease, and clarity. Whenever I need to, I shift my focus to the heart and ask its guidance. Recently, my mind was wanting to rush ahead and call somebody about an issue there was a deadline for. I got into heart coherence to grasp a deeper connection to the tissue. My heart intuition was clear. Don't call now or I will be reacting out of fear. So glad I waited until I was neutral and calm. The results I got from decisions I made in a heart-coherent state keep confirming the effectiveness of freeze framing for me. Okay.
What?
Freeze framing is probably introduced earlier. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just skip ahead. But so this institute, okay, so you're like, oh, this is on Huffington Post. Like, in my mind, Huffington Post is legit, right?
Yeah.
But so then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see that this post was published on the now closed HuffPost contributor platform. Contributors control their own work and post freely to our site. If you need to flag this entry as abusive, send us an email. So, like, if you see this, you're just like, oh, it's HuffPost under the life section.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's really more like a medium.com scenario where you can just submit your content willy-nilly.
And I purposely didn't click on any medium.com stuff. Now, here's how deep like I went on this. I found that New York Times article from 2012 that is about it's from 2017 and it's about like students being stressed out.
Okay.
It's not about this. But they quote the Heart Math Institute as like a legit a legit offering, like a legit source.
It's like you put institute in the name and it becomes like a legit entity.
And I'm just trying to say, like, seems to be how deep this shit goes. Like, if you're my dad, you're fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Even I was confused here. Not like, even I don't know, putting myself on some platform, but like, I was trying to find like a simple answer here to something that is a person I know sent to me. Now the person who said this to me was like, "Look how nuts this is,"
Right.
But it's less nuts than even he thought, to be honest.
Yeah.
So like we're like, oh yeah, the heart has neurons. I was like, that's bullshit. Seems to be true from what we're looking at. It just seems to be like, oh well, Now I found one place, this one article. It's a pseudoscience like blog. Like they have a Patreon. It's not a nice looking thing. It's science-based medicine. You can tell it's like written by a guy.
Yeah.
Riddled with spelling mistakes, as I said it above.
Right.
It's not poorly written either, to be honest. He just clearly doesn't have an editor or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's like, his conclusion is like, and this is an article about this, he calls it energy medicine. For many pseudosciences, when you dig down to the core of their claims, you'll find that either nothing or they're either nothing or simply noise. Some source of random or artifactual signals that generate data to feed into the predetermined conclusions of the pseudoscience. Energy medicine in general and heart math in particular are excellent examples of this phenomenon. So it's kind of like reverse engineering opinions. What you do not find are rigorous scientific studies that are designed to test the core premises of the pseudoscience. Designed so that they're capable of disproving their premises or distinguishing the new effect they are claiming from existing known effects. In other words, you will not find any actual science, just a cheap imitation of cargo cult tooth fairy science. Now, it seems to be that's not actually what's going on here. What's going on here is they're finding a nugget of science that needs to be studied further.
Right.
And you making huge emotional extrapolations from it. And toying on people's loss and desperation and need
yeah.
for leadership. You know?
Well, and also like if it's this ancient technique and you present it like it's fact,
Right.
anyone who's listening will be like, "Oh, I'm facing this big decision. I looked this up to try to figure out how to do it. This must be the way."
You got to be like, to me, like I just don't understand this. I don't understand how you could fall for any of these idiots. Like, and I
Yeah.
really don't understand how you could become one. Like that's the thing. It's like it's all some version of Trump where you have to have like no shame. You know, you're just like I'm
Right.
just gonna do this thing. There's a market for it. There's this there's I want to look deeper into this, but there's this comedian I saw who became was at the Trump Capitol Hill, storming the Capitol Hill,
Oh, really?
and I don't know her at all. We cross paths in certain moments, you know, but we never like worked together. I don't know if we ever even had a full conversation, to be honest, but I knew she was, and I'm like, this is a similar thing to me. It's like, you're not going to convince me that you like rolled in the New York City comedy scene and you think Trump's good. You just are like, yo,
Yeah.
I would like to have a career, and there's a market here. It's
Oh, that's
wrestling.
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wrestling. You know what I mean? I was thinking about writing as my next article about that, like looking into that, about more examples of it. But you know, you'll never convince me that someone who was around the same scene I was is all of a sudden storming the Capitol. Like, I'm not even talking about
Yeah.
being Republican. You're like, or you'll just,
Insurrectionist.
yeah, you just. Yeah. And then I thought something she posted was like, I'll say this for another episode, but something she posted was like, oh, I didn't even see any of that stuff that was going down. Like, it was just people like celebrating free speech. I think this is what she said. It's like, what? Okay.
That I don't
What
get.
people can bend the truth. I don't know. People, it's I don't know. I don't know how we combat all this. I mean, I don't know. If you could take a scientific discovery and you're going to make more money off it than the scientists who found it by making it some kind of hippie bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we got on this. I'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, if
what I'll
anyone is
say-
like well versed in the teachings of Greg Braden, feel free to chime in, write in to regularguynews@gmail.
I think we can lock it in. Greg Braden's officially on Disinformation Watch.
Ugh. I mean, ancient aliens, that's a pretty legit thing to have on your resume.
You know, I wouldn't even have brought him up if I saw him talking about aliens, to be honest. Then I could just write him off entirely.
Aliens, you can really just like
Yeah,
let
then I
that
could just
sink
let it go.
in.
I don't
But he's
know.
giving you something that you should do to yourself. That's a little different.
I know, but at the same time, didn't like the CIA confirm that there were that those alien pictures were real?
Yeah.
So
What
fuck
ancient
knows.
aliens is a little different. But you know what, Danny? You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to do for research. Every time I have to make a decision
Right.
between now and the next installment, I'm going to tap
Touch your heart.
and I'm going to stop breathing and decide that way.
Yeah, because what this guy was claiming, when you think about it, is like, all right, maybe your heart can. I think my red circles are back on my face, but folks, but maybe it's possible that your heart like does more than we think, or has more brain, has some neurons and brain power. Okay, seems to me the neurons are true, right? And
maybe it like works with your brain.
Yeah, like your brain.
tandem.
Yeah, your heart's more involved in like thinking and whatnot. This guy claimed that he asked his heart if 9/11 was gonna go down again. That's what he asked himself. He's like, "Is 9/11 over?" He asked his heart that. You'll never convince me that your heart knows if 9/11's over. Right? That's what he said.
Yeah,
he said, I asked my heart if it's safe to get on the airplane to fly back to the United States.
He did not use his brain
Because he
in
got
this
a logical
scenario.
explanation from the airport, the flight attendant. It was like, hey, I don't know what's going on in your country, but if you want to get on, get on. He was like, yeah, I don't know. What was her problem?
That had nothing
'cause she
to
lived
do
in
with
reality?
his decision. Had nothing to do with his
Yeah.
decision to go back. I don't know
Anyway.
what's going on in that country.
all we could say is that the manipulation of this guy, whether there is some truth, I find it amazing that it's based on some truth, because that seems to be the constant, is that all these scams, all of these snake oil salesmen have something that's based in reality, like
top
something.
to bottom. Yeah.
And so this is where he found. He's like, "Oh my God, I could find." And can you imagine what the process is? I fucking want to. I would. Oh man, for a living, I would love to expose these people. Like you find, you know what I mean? There's such snakes in the grass. They're so disgusting. Just go get a regular job. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
You could be like Leah Remini and we could be like Leah Remini and Mike Rinder exposing.
Oh, I love Leah Remini. She's so cool.
I love Mike. I'm a big Rinder head.
You're a Rinder, Mark?
Yeah, I love his Australian accent. He doesn't know what went on during 9/11, but
no, of course he doesn't know. He was down under, and by that I mean under the spell of David Miscavige. Anyway, so we want to hear from you about this stuff. Like what examples of like pseudoscience are being sent to you? And we were talking about it, and this is the big announcement for the podcast. Is like, hey, how can we want to hear from you guys, right? When we had an email set up, and it was like, all right, you have to send us an email. A couple of you were like, I'm too lazy to write an email, and I get it. Sending an email like in today's day and age is like kind of like a big move,
Yeah, it's a little formal.
It's a little formal, and then there's like a lot of pressure to like write it quick, like you want, So anyway, we had an idea where we were going to open the RGN Discord server, okay? But the issue is like, we're like, maybe we'll start a Facebook group. The issue with the Facebook group is like, anyone come in, these idiots, Greg Braden might come in. You know what I mean? And we get a post for Greg Braden. It's like,
that's a can of worms.
Right. We need a way to keep out the Bradens, okay?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is have the Discord server, and we'll announce the details of that next week. We're thinking about the way we cultivate it is we attach it to our Patreon, which we're going to announce next week, and be very low-cost Patreon. They'll get you access to our Discord, and you can share, and we can converse and share information, and you can and we can open this up to our listeners who are looking for disinformation, and which can come from the top, things we're hearing from the top, and anything that you think is worthy of getting to the eyes and ears of the regular guy news, so that we don't fall into our own bubble. We want to expand into your bubbles, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, but what more details coming once we for next week? Right now, we got to focus on getting Erin back from DC.
Yeah.
Because she's not sure. She might have to check in with her heart, see if she can get on the plane or not.
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet? Or you have to
I'm
decide.
going to confer with Champ and Major and see what they think.
Anyway, more details next week about that stuff when we're back. Remember, tell people about the show, and give us 5 stars on whatever service you use. And more details will come next week. And also, everybody, make sure you stay informed and make sure you stay regular. You'll have to hear it, folks.